Good afternoon, collectors. How are you all on this bright, sunny June afternoon? We're coming to you live from Minnesota. I just came back from a really successful convention in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I just wanted to take a minute to thank the committee that worked on this event. And they just put in hundreds and hundreds of hours getting this convention really set up, and they really worked their butts off to make it very successful. There were over 300 collectors there from all over the United States and in Canada, various provinces in Canada. And it was really just fun to get together with a lot of collectors that I recognize your names and faces from Facebook, and to actually have some time to talk to you. So it was really a great event. They also planned to do some very different things. They had the theme was Christmas in Cincinnati, Christmas in the Queen City. They had an ugly sweater contest. I did not participate. They had display contests, including a club contest, a rehab contest, a children's category, and large and small displays. So there were displays and there were prizes for lots of people, and those were cash prizes, so that was kind of fun. They had a Christmas cookie contest, which I thought was great fun. They had 2 days of open houses at various, what they call house tours at various collectors' homes, where they opened up their homes. You went in, you got to see what their displays looked like. Collectors have a great time on these events. You get on a bus and you go to house number 1, and then you get back on the bus and you go to house number 2, and you have lunch and get to see lots of really fun things and make really good friends. They played bingo with lots of great meals that we shared together. They did some different things. They had lots of raffles, because not everybody can afford to bid high dollars on some of the live auction things. So they had lots of really neat silent auction items and raffles. They had pieces signed by various people. They had just things that were interesting. They had a basket that had all kinds of Cincinnati foods in it. It was just really wonderful. The convention always raises money for a particular cause, and in this case it was the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and they raised about $20,000. Now, I think that was just marvelous. Also at the convention, the NCC, the National Council of 56 Clubs, named Mike Good from Texas as Collector of the Year. Mike is a person that I have known for many years, and he has organized clubs, he's rejuvenated clubs, he's been president of different clubs. In fact, he's even been president of the NCC. So he was a very worthy choice. But I've got to tell you, there were lots of really great people nominated, and if you were nominated this year, maybe your club will nominate you again next year, and you can join a select group of people who were considered to be the best of the best and be named Collector of the Year for 2020. And speaking of 2020, the next scheduled event will take place a year from now in June of 2020 in Jacksonville, Florida. It will take place in conjunction with a train convention, which I think is rather interesting. A lot of our collectors start with trains, move to villages or have villages, and then want to add some animation and put trains in their villages. So I think it will be a real interesting complement next summer. They are going to do a website. It will be up online. I think they said they thought they'd get it up by August, so we'll have that to look forward to, and hopefully many of you will be able to join us in Jacksonville, Florida next June. Also, at this last convention, collectors had an opportunity to meet one of our artists, and that's something we've been trying to do for the last few years at our conventions. Paul Lundberg was the artist that came with us this time, and almost 300 people attended his seminar on Friday morning to hear his take on the design process, and I know it was extremely well received. Paul had some tidbits, and he showed just how he goes from the idea to the drawing to the paper models to the sculpting, and then to the final pieces. And he talked a lot about the Harry Potter pieces that he did, and he also talked a lot about the gift sets that he has been working on. Another very important thing that they talked about at the convention this time was a very special piece that I had the privilege of introducing on Friday morning, and I'd like to show it to you now. We have an artist who is retiring this year. It is Barbara Lund, who has been designing villages since 1989. And Barbara designed, this is her last piece. She designed a piece called Russell Books. And if I turn it just a little bit, you can see the big sign here in front that says Russell Books. And I wanted to tell you just a little bit about Barbara and about why this piece is just such an appropriate piece. It is a Dickens Village piece, but I think it would fit very nicely in with Christmas in the City as well. Barbara started working for her father, Neeland Lund, who was the originator of the Dickens Village back in 1984. And she started working for him when he really was just getting way too many design assignments. He was designing not only Dickens Village, he was designing New England Village, Alpine Village, and then in 1990 he also added North Pole. He really kind of liked North Pole because there's no rules in North Pole, because I don't think anybody's ever been there. But Barb started working for her dad in 1989, and I asked her recently in an interview I did with her, and I said, Barb, do you remember the situation when your dad invited you to start doing some designs? And she said, Melinda, that's kind of a funny story. She said, there really wasn't a conversation. She said, my mom and my sisters and I all helped him with some of the research. Back in the 80s, there was no internet. And if you wanted to know what a water pump, for example, looked like, you had to go to the library and look up water pumps and maybe take some books out of the library. So they did that kind of research for their father. They created what they would call scrap files. And scrap files are just pictures and little tidbits that they would put into folders. They had their ideas. And when he was ready to produce a house that, say, this bookstore, he would have architecture, he would have window designs, he might have designs that showed this happens to be some stucco work. He would have some ideas, and he would get that scrap file out, and then he was able to sit down and work on his project. And she said one day, while I was helping him, he simply looked at me and he said, you're it, you're going to be helping me. So she literally sat at her father's drawing table for a long time, as long as 2 years, learning the process. And he was a very good teacher, because we sometimes would have to look at the signature on the design to find out if it was something that Neeland designed or if it was something that Barbara designed. So they worked very well together. And then Barbara eventually took over and did all of the designs after her father became ill, and then he passed away in 2012. The name for the store, Russell Street Books, has also got a very touching little story, and it really is a tribute to the entire Lund family. When Neeland first brought the idea for Dickens Village to our company, the Lund family lived on Russell Avenue in Minneapolis. And we just thought that was an appropriate name. Of course, Russell Street would sound a little more Dickensian than Russell Avenue, so it became Russell Books. And Neeland's wife, Ruth Marion, had been an English teacher, and the family had a very deep love of books. And every Christmas Eve, they would read A Christmas Carol. So having a bookstore is just something that's very, very near and dear to the Lund family, and I think this will be a very special piece. Now, this house will only be available at 3 retailers this year. We have some of the information up on our website already. This piece and Barbara will be appearing at City Lights in San Diego, at A Christmas Place in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and at Bronner's in Frankenmuth, Michigan. Now, these will be the only places you will be able to purchase this. And as you've known in the past, all 3 of these places are stores that do online sales. They have 800 numbers. You can call if you can't get there. You can call and order the piece, and you will be able to get a signed piece and have it shipped to you. This is something not to miss. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to join Barb at one of these events because she's a very dear person, and I'm hoping for one last little visit with her before she retires. There will also be times and dates of other open house events that will be up on the website, and I did look today and some of them are up already. Not all times, not all the artists have been finalized yet. We are working on all that, but we wanted to get as much of that up online as possible so that we can give you as much lead time so that you can make your plans, plan your weekend to be on hand when our artists will be out and about this fall. Another thing I wanted to make sure I showed you is this is the mid-year brochure, and as we've done in the last couple of years, it's a flip book. And what we mean by a flip book, one side is Village, the other side is Snow Babies, and this book will retail for $3.50. You'll be able to order it online and have it shipped straight to your home. So that is ready to go. You can go right now to the website and place an order for that, so I think that's great. As we move into July, it's time to fly your flag. And don't forget, we've got a lot of flags coming, a lot of wonderful state flags, but fly your U.S. flag. I think that's a pretty special piece. Now, besides the Russell Street books, I have a couple of other pieces that were just introduced now in June that I wanted to share with you. And if you have young people in your home or no young people, for the most part, maybe some of you do it too. We're known to play video games. There is a new series that we just introduced, and it is Minecraft. Now, I'm not terribly familiar with the Minecraft game, but the pieces that Paul Lundberg designed are pretty nifty. This is the clubhouse, and it is made very much in line with the way the online video game appears on the screen. And what a great gift to give someone who is a fan of the game, and not necessarily for a village, but a great bookshelf item. It's nice and bright. The colors are great. They really look good, I think, in this series. I saw a first draft of one, and the windows were all painted yellow, and I think this one looks so much better with the light coming through. It is LED lighting, and it has our new LED, what is this called?
USB.
It's got a USB port, so this is something that you'll be able to use whether you're in the US or in Canada or in anywhere in the world, that you'll be able to plug it into your own particular voltage plug and be able to plug it right in. It's got the on-off switch, which is nice, and these are just like the new USB single light cords with power adapters that we talked about earlier this year. They are now shipping to stores, and this is what you're going to look for when you go to a store. They're in a bag, so you'll see them hanging on the pegboard with the light bulbs and things like that. So if you're looking for light bulbs, you'll see these in the same places. And I think people really are going to be happy with these because the quality of the light is very, very good, and no need to replace bulbs. Also for Minecraft, besides the house, let me just set this over here so that if you want to see it a little bit more as we're looking, there is the diamond mine. Also LED lit with the USB port cord. And let's get that lit and turned on so that we can, is that on? No? There we go, it was on. So they had, again, it's the lights are here by the mine opening. They've got the water feature this way. Here we go. So you can see the water feature over here, that acrylic. I think they did a really nice job. Actually, the artist Paul Lundberg, who did these, went to Sweden to work with the Minecraft development team to make sure that everything they did was just right. And of course, because it's licensed, they have final say on how things look. And people who are into Minecraft are really excited about these. And you can't have the two lighted pieces without some of these figurines. And let's just show you some of these. trees, and of course in Village you never can have too many trees. This is just one tree, and you may want several of them in your village. Then there is Creeper. I had to learn these names today. Here's Creeper, and Creeper, here we go. Creeper is apparently a pretty big thing in that village. We have Creeper, and we have Pig, who I think is kind of cute, the little pink pig. And then we have Steve, who is the hero. The other one, oh yeah, the other one's Steve. You're right. Thank you. Yeah, that's why I have Nate here. Steve and Alex, and I guess Alex can be good or evil, from what I understand. But this is Steve, and this is Alex, who is a girl, and you can see by her long ponytail there that she's a girl. So all of these will complement your pieces and really look cute on a bookshelf. And if you look on our website, they've got a really cute bookshelf display where they've shown these pieces, and I think Minecraft fans will be very excited about this as an added licensed series for our villages. We're moving into July, and in July, I mentioned we need to fly our flag, and that's very important because we have 4th of July coming up soon. Do you know that there was only one president who had a birthday on the 4th of July, and that was Calvin Coolidge. He was born in 1872. But I think what's even more interesting, and you know my love of history, 2 presidents died on the very same day. In 1826, Thomas Jefferson died at Monticello, and John Adams died in Massachusetts. And they were political rivals forever and ever. But they kind of carried on a pen pal relationship in later years after they both left office. They were presidents number 2 and 3. And when Adams was breathing his last, he said something about Jefferson, not knowing that Jefferson had died earlier in the day. But they both died on the 4th of July, 1826. So I thought, you know, it's kind of weird how stuff like that happens. Our next Facebook Live will be July 18th. We'll be skipping in 2 weeks because it is July 4th, and I think we'll be busy with parades and picnics and baseball games, and we need to be outside enjoying things like that. Are there any questions I need to answer, Nate? Oh, you guys are so good. We do such a good job here that we don't even have people asking questions. We're really delighted that you all spend a few minutes and join us for these Facebook Live sessions. Let us know what else you'd like us to talk about during some of our next sessions. We'd be happy to try to get some of these things in. And until then, happy 4th of July. We'll see ya. Bye.